this topic today for this webinar is Lync 2013 and then Lync 2013 PBX integration. I am Dennis Irwin. I'm the Nortec Communications Practice, Unified Communications Practice Manager. So I'm the person who's in charge of our Lync practice. And I'm going to kind of go through a little overview of Lync Server 2013, new features, functionality, and all that kind of stuff. I will go ahead real quick before I start this. I'm going to unmute you guys and allow you to stop me and ask questions in between. If you wouldn't mind just muting your microphone or telephone when you're not speaking so that we don't get any feedback from anybody, I'd appreciate it. All right, so now everybody should have the ability to unmute yourself, and you should all see my PowerPoint. Is that correct?
Yep, I can see it.
Great. Okay, so like I said, my name is Dennis Irwin. I'm the practice manager for Unified Communications at Nortec. So Lync 2013, we're going to go ahead and just start talking about it a little bit. Currently, technology has brought us a long way in terms of how we communicate in the business world. But as communications and collaboration technologies have evolved, they've done so completely independently. So that's created separate communications silos. And, today as a society, we're more mobile. We have greater access to technology outside of the workplace. Oh, there's Chris again.
Is now exiting.
Oh.
2 participants are now joining.
Interesting. Okay. So as a society today, we're really a much more mobile society. We have greater access to technology inside and outside of the workplace, and we have a lot of expectations to match. Today's workers, they're using a variety of products and services to meet all of their needs in their professional and their personal lives. Most companies, today are using, separate applications for telephony, voicemail, email, instant messaging, audio conferencing if you're using it, video conferencing if you're using it, web conferencing, and all the different group communication tools. Now, the way it has been typically done in the past with the current products and applications, each one of these separate things would run as a separate silo inside of your office and your business, right? And the independent silos, they basically will create a very difficult, hard to maintain and manage environment. So how does Microsoft handle that problem? Microsoft Lync 2013. It's an enterprise-ready unified communications platform. It reduces complexity by putting people at the center of the communications experience. Microsoft Lync's goal is to integrate all of the ways we contact each other into a single environment, using a single client, a single identity, and giving businesses the power to choose how they deploy. With Lync as the UC platform, IT administrators can modernize, manage, and monitor all of their communications through a very simple tool. And with that said, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is new in Lync 2013 compared to Lync 2010, because I'm not sure exactly what everybody's level of expertise on this call is with Lync, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands what you would get by getting Microsoft Lync. And after we go through Microsoft Lync, we will talk a little bit about how we can integrate that into your PBX to make it even better. So basically, the essence of Microsoft Lync is captured into 4 different pillars. The first pillar is multi-party HD video content sharing. Lync 2013 showcases advances in video and visual communications. So basically, I see what you mean can take on an entirely different meaning when colleagues, customers, everybody are able to communicate fast and effectively and face-to-face if necessary, even if they're not together. Lync was built.
Oleg Semenikin
is now joining.
Lync was built from the ground up to deliver identity-based communications, pivoting on users' identity rather than phone numbers as a proxy for the person, right? So Lync integration across Office apps enables one-click communications for anybody directly from, Outlook, SharePoint, OneNote, and any other Microsoft applications for quick, easy communications. Um, you know, uh, Also, we have federation with Skype, and federation with Skype
Unknown
now.
participant is now joining.
Federation with Skype unlocks a lot of potential by bringing, your company with the ability to call and talk to anybody in the world via Skype through a direct web call without a PSTN. So it can save a lot of money and stuff for talking to people overseas or long distance. So now I'm going to kind of get into each one of these separate silos and talk a little bit about the what's available and what it actually is. Now, after I go over these PowerPoints, we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch, and I'm going to show it to you live on Nortec systems. But with the HD video gallery, so with Lync 2013, you get multi-party HD video included with the Enterprise Cal.
Is now joining.
We have a lot of people joining a little bit late here, but that's okay. So with the Lync, with the Enterprise Cal, you get the multi-party HD video. So this multi-party HD video, Microsoft recommends that you turn off video for conferences over 25 users. So up to 25 users, it works extremely well. And I'm going to just kind of go over, what it is. So basically, it showcases the most
unknown participant is now exiting
the meeting by bringing the 5 most dominant speakers to the front. So if I'm doing a video conference call and I have, let's say, 10 people, like what's shown on my screen here, the 5 people that you see in the bigger windows are the most active speakers. The people down below, and it may be 30 people, maybe 5, it may be 10. They're the people who are not speaking as much and who are not as active in the call. Now, as one of the people on the lower row becomes a more active speaker, they'll replace somebody on the upper row who is not as active as a speaker. And the little guy on the right here, that would be me. It's not me, but it would be me if it was if I was showing my video right now, because that's the presenter whose video is always shown. Also, it supports H.264 SCVC, which means that we're able to do presentation and content sharing through other video systems, like LifeSize, for instance. So, the next thing I'm going to talk about is our presenter controls, and they're optimized for the meeting type, right? So, when a meeting is scheduled, the organizer can select from a dedicated meeting space or create a new meeting room with a new user ID and password. And basically what that means is that I have the ability to save my information, and every time I have a meeting and create a meeting, it'll have my information. Now, whether that information is allowing people directly into the meeting like we did today, or letting people stay in a lobby, or muting the audience, all of my particulars would be saved into my meeting space, and then I can use that meeting space over and over again, or I can create a new meeting space if I have a meeting that I need to have a little more control on, let's say, and I take that meeting and I make it so that you can't get into the meeting without me admitting you. Now, the reason I didn't do that on this particular meeting is I've done this quite a few of these, and as people come in late, I still have to admit them. So I'm doing it by myself. If I had someone doing it with me, they could do the admitting, right? But as it is, I just left it open so that I don't have to admit people and slow us down, right? So, I'm going to kind of just go over the screen a little bit for you. This screen, as you can see, this is what I see on my computer. This is like my sharing, right? This is the information I'm sharing. Up on the top left, these are the participants that are in the meeting. I can mute and unmute people just by right-clicking them and doing stuff like that, and I'll show that to you. Down below, these little blue circles, they're called peeps and from Microsoft, and what they do is when you highlight over one of these little peeps, it'll tell you information. So like you can see, I'm highlighted over this little monitor peep, and it shows you what I can present when I'm highlighted over that. So I can present all my monitors, my primary monitor, secondary monitor, just a program, which is what I'm doing right now, is I'm just presenting a PowerPoint. I could present a PowerPoint. I could whiteboard. Now, this program could be any program that's running on your computer, right? I just happen to be doing a PowerPoint using the program. I could whiteboard, so I could start a whiteboard and start drawing for you. And I can create a poll and pull the audience all directly from here. I can also take this meeting information, everything on the call, and dump it directly into OneNote using this button here. And then down over here by the bottom right, these are the controls for the meeting and the different views, which I'll go over live and show you after we get to that part. So the next thing I want to talk about for just a second, and you see this and I don't, is the end user selected views of content and people. So this is the gallery view. There's a few different choices you have. The first one is the gallery view, which shows all the participants' photos or videos. The speaker view would show the meeting content with the presenter's video or photo in the lower right-hand corner of the meeting. Presentation view shows only the meeting content, and then compact view shows it really small. Now, if you were to take your mouse and highlight it on your screen over this little person down here where my mouse is, or this, this little person window next to that smiley, that's how you change your view, right? So that's the end user selected view in a multi-party conference. Now, how do we use it? As I said earlier, one of the pillars is that Lync is just available, communication silos. It's modern mobile and has web clients, regular clients. You can pretty much run it anywhere and anyway. So the first one I want to show you a little bit and talk about, because I'm not going to physically show you all the clients, I'm just going to show you the PC client that I'm running in the live demo, is the Lync Windows Store app. So this is an app that's specifically designed for your Windows 8 tablet or whatever. And you can see here, this is the client. It looks very nice. It's built for the tablet and for Windows 8, and that's the Store app. It's available for download from the Windows Store. You can go there and download it at any time. It also will run on your mobile too if you have a Windows 8 phone. Mobile client experiences are designed for each device. So, Lync designs your mobile experience for your device. So as you can see here, I have a variety of different devices. I have Windows phones, I have a Droid, and I have iOS devices. Each iOS device, as you can see, is designed a little differently, to look a little different, to run on the particular device itself. So a couple of quick points about the mobile client. If you're using enterprise voice, the mobile client can be used for IM, presence, conferencing, web, and audio, and voice, right? So if I'm on the road traveling, I can use Lync to make and receive my phone calls like I was sitting at my desk. If I do remote call integration to a PBX, which is the next part we're going to talk about, and I make a call from Lync, it'll use my PBX trunking, which is the crux of this call, which we'll get to. So, but first, of course, we have to talk about Lync, because that's what we're going to use to do it. So also there's the Lync web app, and that's browser-based access for meetings. I'm sure a few of you probably clicked on the option to join using the Lync web app. But as you can see, it's very, very familiar. It looks pretty much like the desktop client and all the other clients. So it's very easy to use. You still have the peep windows and all that good kind of stuff. So basically, as far as collaboration and the ability to use multiple devices, Lync gives you the ability to use, let's say, a kiosk. So this is just using the Lync web app. I may be out maybe you have a campus environment like Howard University, and sorry guys, I saw you were on the call, and maybe I stick out some kiosks or computers in certain areas, and I access Lync that way from those kiosks, right? And that's a pretty common
is now exiting.
That's a pretty common use for that. So then we also have the mobile devices and conference room experience. So, as I had said before, we have a single identity and shared contact card across all business and social apps with Microsoft Lync. So when you use Microsoft Lync, it'll pull your contact information from multiple places and put it into one place to give you an easy place to dial and work. And as you can see here in my in the PowerPoint screen, if I highlight over this peep that looks like a telephone and I have enterprise voice from Lync or Lync PBX integration, I have some options. I have the option to make calls via PSTN, right, which is the work or mobile. I have the option to make a link call, which would be just through voice. And if I'm using Exchange I have the ability to send something directly to voicemail or make a call to a person's voicemail. As I said before, we can dump things directly into OneNote. And we are able to communicate with everybody in your organization or anywhere directly from their contact, whether they're in Office apps like Outlook, SharePoint, and all that good kind of stuff. And you can see a screenshot of it here, but I'm going to show it to you live. So I'd mentioned that we're able to federate with Skype now. That's a big deal. Lync is actually part of the Skype team. Microsoft owns Skype. Hundreds of millions of people use Skype. If they're a Skype user and you're federated with Skype, you'll get presence on them. You'll be able to IM back and forth with them, and you'll be able to make web voice calls that don't cost any money. So, enabling customers the deployment choice. So there's actually a couple other options with deployment here that I'm not bringing up because our purpose on this call is to talk about enterprise voice PBX integration. So if you're going to do enterprise voice currently or PBX integration, it's required that you do Lync server on premise. And that is your only current option. Lync Online does not currently have voice, and there's no hybrid setup to give you enterprise voice to your PBX. So Lync server premise-based installation is the way to go if you want to have any kinds of voice or PBX integration currently. Now, let me just say that Nortec has experience and runs this PBX integration, and what I'm going to show you on our live system is actually tied to a ShoreTel PBX for call control, so for PSTN connectivity. Now, the Lync server, even though you have to do premise-based to do the PBX integration, you do have options where you could have hardware servers or the entire environment could be virtualized aside from a session border controller, which we'll talk about in a minute. So with that said, Microsoft Lync has a great development platform with web APIs, mobile APIs, telephone APIs, which allows us to be able to easily go and take Lync and make it integrate with your phone system in order to give you remote call control. Remote call control means that my Lync client will take my telephone off hook, right? So whatever I do in my Lync client happens on my telephone. We also have the ability to give you soft phone integration. So what that means is that we're able to, you can be out on the road and without the need for a VPN back into the company, you could use your Lync client to make and receive your telephone calls just like as if you were in the office, which is a pretty big deal. And then we also have the ability to give you extension dialing from the Lync client into your phone system. So if you have a large phone system with multiple sites and everybody's connected, we'll connect your Lync client to that and you'll be able to dial people just by their extension name or telephone number. So the Lync enterprise benefits: the ability to work from anywhere, the connected experience. It's simpler to manage because it's one product instead of 5 or 6 separate products to do the same thing, and the deployment is flexible, especially when you come to hardware or virtualization. And as far as that particular presentation, that is all I have. Now I'm going to open up for a minute to questions on that presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Dennis. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Massimo Marchi here, working for 3 Arrows, the Brita Group. We recently moved to Office 365 and looking into this Lync. We have no experience with Lync whatsoever, although we have a lot of users with in Skype. And I have a couple of questions. So first of all, when you organize a meeting, the meeting can be open to anybody. You don't need to have a Microsoft account. Is that correct?
Correct. With Microsoft Lync and Office 365, that is absolutely correct. And with any Lync installation, like you're able to be on this call, but you're not on our Lync client, account, right?
Actually, I have a Microsoft account, but I think that I just joined as a guest.
You did.
So
Yes.
what's the difference between joining as a guest or
So there's really no difference. except for how you set up the call initially. So if I had set up the call initially, like right now, the difference for you as a guest compared to somebody that's local in our company, like Allison, who's on the call, or Michael Valancourt, who's actually a Link engineer who's on the call, they have the ability right now to be able to do presentation, sharing, control the meeting just the same way I do, right? You don't have that ability. That's the difference between the guest and the that's really the only difference. Now I can give you that ability right now on the fly, right?
Yeah.
But that's the real difference. Now Office 365, right? Uh, it all works great, and you can do all the same exact stuff that we've talked about and that I showed you, right? The only thing you cannot do is tie it to a PBX. So you cannot use Office 365 to make a phone call via Link at this point.
Okay, I see.
Now that will change, but currently that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has to be premise if you're going to use Link to control your phone. Now, however, you could do everything I just showed you without doing the telephone part using Link in Office 365, and it's an amazing product.
Okay. And so the other question I have is, generally we're having meeting with other sister company in Europe. We have actually three different countries on the same call.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to use also international phones, local phones to the different countries?
Well, I would personally have people in another country access it the way that most of the people on this call are accessing it, which is through the web, just using web audio, and then there's no charge for it. However, we can absolutely set up. I mean, if we use Link integration to the PBX, then it's just a telephone number that they're calling into if it's a phone call into Link for a conference call, right? So whether you make that an international 800 number or a local 800 number would be up to you.
Okay, well, so my question is, can they call a local phone number, or they need to call an 800 US number in case they want to use the phone?
Well, that if you're doing the Link and tying it to voice, then it's all premise based in your system, right?
Right.
So they would have to use a telephone to make a phone call to your system.
Right.
Right. Now, if they have a computer, then they wouldn't need to make a telephone call. They could do it all through the computer. And just so you know, I am not using a telephone. I don't have any audio here except for through the web and through my computer. I have a USB headset plugged into my computer.
Okay, thank you very much. And
yeah.
Sorry, and my last question would be, you mentioned integration with Outlook. So when we're using Outlook,
Mm-hmm.
and actually right now I'm using it on a Mac machine actually. So what I'm doing now is I need to organize the meeting through the agenda in Outlook, but I don't have a way to also set up a Link meeting. I don't know how to do it. So what is this integration that you're talking
I'll show
about?
you as soon as I get to the live part of the demo. I'll create a meeting in Outlook and you'll see how it works.
Thank you very much.
Yep, no problem at all. Any other questions on this part of the demo or this part of the presentation? Okay, great. I'm going to move on and talk a little bit more about the PBX integration instead of just Link. But we needed to make sure everybody understands what Link can do before I talk about tying it into the PBX. So I'm going to go ahead and just share another PowerPoint for you guys here, just for a minute. This one's very short. And this one is basically about connecting ShoreTel to Microsoft UC. Now, let me just preference this by saying I'm showing you ShoreTel because that just happens to be what we have the most experience in integrating. However, we can integrate Link into pretty much any legacy PBX or easily into any IP PBX. If anybody's interested in knowing exactly how the integration for your specific PBX works, or or what is available, because each specific vendor is going to have a little bit of a difference, right? Feel free to email your account manager or Allison, and she can get it to your account manager, or myself with your PBX model and version number, and we can do the research and find that out for you. I mean, I don't know them all off the top of my head, but we can definitely find that out very easily. So this is just an overview of what you can get with PBX integration. Now, all of them are going to give you basically the same thing, so I'm just going to go over the one that I actually have a lot of experience doing and that I'm currently doing in my office. What I'm going to show you in the live demo
is now exiting.
What I'm going to show you in the live demo is using this PBX integration. So basically, what we're able to give you is voice collaboration between Lync or OCS, which I hope nobody's using OCS, and if you are, I hope you go to Lync 2013. But we're able to do integration to give you remote call control. What remote call control means is that we're able to make and have Lync control the handset. So if I'm in Lync and I go to make a phone call, my handset will go off hook, whether it's to speakerphone or whether it's to my headset or however I'm set to do it, or whether my phone rings and I pick it up, my phone will go off hook, right? I'm also able to do presence and instant messaging, right, through it, and I'm able to give you PSTN access for audio conferencing, soft phones, and remote call control, right? The other third thing, which I haven't mentioned yet, is we have the ability using Microsoft Lync to do integration that allows you to use either Exchange Unified Messaging for your voicemail or use your current voicemail from your current PBX. So a lot of people would stay with their current voicemail because they don't want to change it. If you're using Office 365, we can still give you the voicemail, the Exchange Unified Messaging voicemail in Office 365. It just takes a little bit of a setup because we have to do a hybrid setup in order to allow you to use multiple domains in Office 365. That's an Active Directory thing, not a Lync thing, but we are a Office 365 deployment partner, so we can help you with that as well. So Lync and ShoreTel, this is what it really looks like. And I'm just talking about ShoreTel. I'm going to open up a general one in a second. And you can ignore 2010 and change it to 2013 because it's all the same. But basically, we have our phone system, which in ShoreTel happens to be these switches, right? And we have our Lync server here, right? And then we have our Lync clients. And our Lync clients are able to control the telephones. It's a very simple slide. I'm not going to spend very much time on it. So what it gives you is it gives you the ability to do 100% of Microsoft Remote Control Client capabilities. I can send everybody a list of what those are, but they're basically hold, transfer, all the different call functions that you would be able to do are supported in remote call control. We're also able to give telephone presence whether you're in or out of a call propagated to all your Lync users. So if I'm a user in your phone system, and I'm just going to not talk about ShoreTel, I'm going to say you're a Mitel, right? So I'm a Mitel user on your phone system, and I have my Lync client up and running. And I go to call somebody in my Lync client. You can see on the screenshot of the client on the left-hand side of the screen, I can see the green there. That's because this person is available on their Mitel phone. If that person was using their Mitel phone currently, it would show red. And that's remote call, that's, the presence integration. This is give you a little idea of how it actually works. I have PSTN, that's my telephone service that comes into my traditional PBX. And then I have a media gateway that sits between my traditional PBX and my Lync installation, right? I have a SIP connection going from, if you have IPPBX, very simply, from the media gateway into your mediation server on your Lync installation. If you do not have an IPPBX, then I believe it would be a QSIG tie between the two systems. And away we go. Everything I do in Lync here is going to run through the media gateway, hit the PBX, whether it be Avaya, ShoreTel, Mitel, Cisco, whatever you're running, and access PSTN. So the benefit summary of what you get when you're using remote call control Lync with the phone system, you get the best of both worlds. For ShoreTel, for instance, ShoreTel has a single image architecture that, in my opinion, is probably the best, most reliable call control in the industry as far as call control goes, right? the actual PBX part. I also truly believe in my heart that Lync has the best client in the industry, the best desktop client and easiest to use. By combining Lync and ShoreTel, you're getting the best of both solutions, right? You're getting Lync for your for your end users and your desktop productivity software, and you're getting ShoreTel or MyTel or whatever for your PBX to give you the dial tone. Now, let me also just say we can definitely do all of this same stuff without using a PBX. We could do it all straight through Lync. So if you are in the process of actually replacing your PBX, instead of just wanting to add to it, then we could use Lync and it's completely enterprise ready to be a fully functional PBX. However, if you're just looking to enhance what you have and give unified communications capabilities, we can very easily tie to your PBX. So the only other thing I'm going to show you on that at this second is I have this one little image that I'm just going to open up real quick here, and then we'll talk about it and open up for questions. So, all right. So everybody, you guys can see that little image there, right?
Brandon Bowie
Is now exiting.
Looks like we have people dropping off. Maybe they don't like it, but that's okay. So, everybody can see this little image here. Basically this is the true architecture, and it's really quite this easy. So we have, our PSTN, whether it be, PRI or SIP trunks, that can go directly into your IP PBX, or it can go into the gateway to Lync, right? So whether you're going directly into Lync as your PBX, or whether you're utilizing your current analog devices or telephones, because really that's what you're doing when you're enhancing your PBX, is you're just allowing your current phone system to be used with all the UC capabilities and not have to replace all your devices, because really that's the cost, of course, is replacing devices. Devices can be quite costly. So if you can reuse those and get what you want, and then it's also obviously a win-win situation. So does anybody have any questions now about the PBX Lync integration prior to me moving on and showing you a quick live demo of Lync? Great. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go ahead and stop presenting this, and I'm going to change, and I'm going to go ahead and just present my entire desktop now. So you guys should be seeing my desktop now, and you would be seeing my presenter window for Lync. Let me hide the people so in case nobody wants to see each other. So you can see this is my view. This is what I see when I'm presenting. I have all the people. People who have spoken are actually in the top. Interesting, right? So that's a good thing. It shows you it works. Now I'm going to kind of go over the window. I mean, we already went over this in the PowerPoint, but just really quickly to show you. You can see here I'm recording this call, right? I can pause the recording. I can stop the recording. This is recording both audio and data sharing, and video would be shown also if I'm sharing video, which I'll show you in just a second. So these are those peep windows that we were talking about. I have the ability, like I said, if I highlight over here, I have the ability to mute the audience right now, so then none of you guys can talk. See that? Somebody was unmuted there, the guest. I can go back in here, sorry, and I can unmute you guys. I can show names or not show names. I could do meeting IM. I could allow attendee video or not. You can see I'm blocking attendee video. And I can make everyone an attendee instead of being a presenter and all that good kind of stuff, right? So that's what I can do from there. Now over here to the right, this is where I was showing you I can pick my layout. So that's my gallery view. If I choose speaker view, you can see it's just going to show the content, which is what's being shown. And go back because I prefer the gallery view. And then down here are my meeting options. So down here on the bottom right, where these three little dots are, if I click on the three little dots, I have the ability to do some things on this particular meeting. This is how I record. That's how I started my recording. This is where I manage my recordings. So if I'm recording meetings, they're all going to be put together here, and you can see this one's processing, and it's just in a file folder, and then I can post those on the web or whatever I want to do. And I can play through them, browse them, publish them, do all that good kind of stuff, right? I'm going to come down, I'm going to show you this is the meeting entry info. That's just how we get into the meeting. I could take this and email it to anybody. They can get into the meeting. And then link meeting options. So right now I have this set so that anyone is able to get in with no restrictions. And I could set it to where people I invite get in, anyone from my organization get in, and or only the meeting organizer. So that means that they don't have to wait in the lobby, right? So if I wanted all of you to have to wait in the lobby and then I was to let all of you in at the same time, I would have just said the meeting organizer doesn't have to wait in the lobby. Everybody else has to wait in the lobby, right? And who's a presenter? This was a question that was asked earlier. Live in the meeting right now, you can see anyone from my organization is a presenter, but I could also say anyone with no restrictions is a presenter. So as soon as I do that, everybody's screen will change to allow them to have the ability to present, which I'm not going to do. So that's how you do some live stuff during the meeting, right? Now, like I said, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on here, but I'm going to go into the client, right? So this is the Microsoft Lync 2013 client. Nortec uses it with remote call control to our SourceTel phone system, which is the purpose of this discussion. So no matter where I'm at, personally, I'm able to run my Lync client as long as I have internet access, right? So what that means is that, and you can see right here, Allison's in our meeting and she's red, which I'll go over that. But as long as I have internet access, I don't need a VPN back into my company because we have a Lync Edge server, which is usually included in a standard deployment. It gives you secure remote access to your systems. And basically, I said, like as I told you, I don't have a physical telephone. I'm not using one right now. I'm using a USB headset, and I'm just using Lync audio. That's it. So if I wanted to call somebody here, like I said, like Allison, I could highlight over Allison's name, and I get this peep window, right? The same kind of peeps you get in everywhere else. I can send an IM by clicking that. If I go over her telephone and I click on this arrow, I get a drop down, right? So I can call her at her work, her mobile, or I can just do a direct link call, which is a web call. So that's PSTN access. From this client, I'm able to call her on her mobile using a headset and not have a telephone, right? If I want to do a video call with Allison, I could just click on the video and it'll do a video call. Now, let me just say that I could start with an instant message. Hi. Let's see if she's paying attention to our call. So she may have walked out of the room, who knows. But I can send an instant message, and then from that instant message, I could turn it into a telephone call, and then from that, I can turn it into video, right? And down here, you can see this is where I was saying earlier. I'm going to highlight over this this display screen, or it looks like a monitor, and you can see I have the ability to share my desktop just with Allison right now. This is just an individual I have going on with her, not in our meeting. I'm just showing you how the program works. So I could share my desktop, I could share a program, a PowerPoint, I could do a whiteboard, or I can take polls, right, if there's a lot of people on this call. Now, if I wanted to bring somebody else into this IM conversation besides Allison to make it a multi-party call, I just click on the name to invite more people, and then I just type whoever I want. So I'm going to invite Darren, who may be there. Let's see. Hey, Darren. So now I have a three-way call. Darren can see the whole history of the call that went on if he needed to look at it and see what was going on, right? He's actually sitting in the office next to me currently. But up here on the top, you can see I have now 3 people in this meeting, and they're all presenters. That's because we have it set so that anybody in our company is able to present. So as you can see, Darren just sent a message back, and I said Darren was typing. So I have a 3-way conversation going on with myself, Darren, and Allison. At this point, if I wanted to turn this into a telephone call, I can just hit the phone button. Video call, I hit the video button, it adds video. Ask them if they want to accept, share their video, all that good stuff. Up at the top, you can see, here's my participants. Here's presence information. Darren's not on the telephone right now or in a meeting or anything. He's available. I'm presenting. That's why I am in Do Not Disturb. And Allison is in busy mode because she's attending the meeting, right? Very nice, very clean. This, just to show you really quickly, this is kind of new. This is comes with 2013. And Lync 2010, it was possible to do this. However, you had to download a plugin. It had to start before Lync and all this other kind of crazy stuff. But now it's tabbed conversations. So I have this conversation with Deb, Janet, Darren, everybody. I have 3 separate conversations going on here is all I wanted to show you. I can switch between them very easily by clicking here. All right, so I'm going to close on up on all them people. All right, so now if I wanted to use this is the search window, so I could type anybody's first name, last name, and I could call them, or I could call an extension. So like if I wanted to call Daniel Cornell, I'm going to call it 7223, and it's going to normalize the number for me and call that extension, right? And it would show the name if I had it tied to a person, but it's just normalizes it. So that's how I do extension calls very easily. I just dial somebody's extension. Here's a dial pad and Lync. So I could, if I didn't want to use my keyboard, I could use the dial pad, right? So this is a history of all of my, meetings. Like you can see, here's my whole history of this meeting with the IMs that are happening during our meeting live right now. That one that I just had, I mean, presence information on people. I could call people directly back just by clicking on them, click the call, all that good kind of stuff, right? And then over here is showing you, this is my calendar and what I have going on today. As you can see, I'm kind of busy. This webinar, this is the one that we're in. From my calendar here in Lync, I could just simply click on this webinar, which is what I did, and it'll join me to the meeting. So as far as the client goes, this is what the client looks like. It has high definition images if you choose to install high definition images. Everything's got presence information. This presence information is coming from our ShoreTel PBX. So I can see, well, and Lync, both. So like Andrew's away, I can see that certain people are on the telephone. Michael is in a meeting with us, right? It's very easy to use. Like Jerry's available. I'm just going to IM him. So let's say Jerry wasn't available. Let's say I needed to get a hold of Michael and I wanted to know when will he be available. I could right click on Michael and I can tag him for a status change alert. So when I do that, all of a sudden, as soon as Michael becomes available, I get a pop-up saying Michael's now available and I can start my conversation, right? So, and then I could do a couple other things, like I could schedule a meeting with them, send them an email, start a video call, start a phone call to either his work, mobile, home, any number that he has in here. And that's how I do that. So also you can see I can change my status information. I'm currently presenting. I could be available, and that happened automatically because I started presenting. And I have all these different options at a drop down. Also, I can set my location. So like if I was working from home and I would say, but I'm not, I'm going to say FC office. I actually work from home about 80% of the time, and the other 20% of the time I'm traveling doing demonstrations. But I do these web demos normally from my house because I have access using Lync, just like as if I was sitting in my office, and I actually work out of our Philadelphia office. So a couple other quick things about this screen, and that's really all I'm going to show you on the client screen. It's very nice to look at. I think most people have probably used it. You guys are all with pretty decent sized companies. But up here at the top, I just want to show you a couple quick things. So you see here I'm recording. That's that little red dot. I could stop presenting my screen right now. I could also come over here and I can give control of my screen, or I could take control, right, of somebody else's screen. And what does this mean? This means that, let's say that one of the people on the call happens to be an expert at something, and this isn't working out for me, and I say, hey, you know what? Can you help me and just fix this for me real quick? Sure, no problem. I'll click over here. I'll give Massimo control, and then Massimo will be able to actually control my desktop and work on it for remote support, right? So it's very good for remote control, support, all that great kind of stuff, as well as the other uses that I've already pointed out. Now I'm going to change over here to go to Outlook and show you guys what we were talking about with integration for Outlook. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Outlook calendar, and I'm going to just create a new meeting. And in my new meeting, you'll see I have a ribbon bar, right? And in my ribbon bar, I have the ability to do a Lync meeting I'll just click on the Lync meeting, and it'll populate all my information for my Lync meeting, including a dial-in information. This is dialing into a ShoreTel phone system. So anybody who's on this Lync meeting audio-wise is connected via ShoreTel with a SIP connection to Lync. So just so you can see. So then I would just name my meeting, test, subject, web, whatever I want to put, the date, the time, the duration of the meetings, all that good kind of stuff. And then it gives me my conference ID. If I didn't want a phone number, I can just delete it out of there and make it just a web meeting. And then up here, I have the ability to do some options. So I'm going to click on meeting options up here. So, oops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry. Meeting options. Where's it going? It's not opening my meeting options. Meeting. Wow. Just a second. Sorry about that. Save changes, but don't send. Am I in the Lync meeting? Meeting options. So, I don't know why it's pulling this up, but so in any case, it shouldn't have pulled up 2 test meetings. It should have just pulled up 1, right? So when I click on the meetings options tab, it should only, there it goes, okay. So there's the permissions for my particular meeting, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I could create a new meeting space where I can control permissions, or I can use my dedicated meeting space, which is less secure. In my dedicated meeting space, I have it set up to what's grayed out, right? So if I want to do a new meeting space, I click a new meeting space, and then I can say these people don't have to wait in the lobby. Anyone, only me, right? Or I could say people and anyone from my organization, and I can click this off and make callers have to wait in the lobby also. Or I can click this and say if you're on the phone, you get in directly. If you're in the web, you have to wait in the lobby, right? Who's a presenter? I can say anyone from my organization.
Oleg Semenikin.
Or I
Is
could
now exiting.
Or I could say anyone in the entire company can present, right? So, or anyone on the call. So I could set up all these options ahead of time. I could disable IM. I can mute attendees, and I can block attendees' videos all ahead of time. This is the phone information. I'm going to have the people calling in from Virginia. Someone had asked, about whether, if you have Lync installed in multiple locations, I could give the phone information from any of those locations. So if you have overseas companies and you have an instance of Lync in the overseas company, and people need to dial into this conference and you have people in the U.S., you can dial into those 2 separate phone systems and they'll be connected on one conference through the web, right? So you can provide that as long as you have an installation in each country. So I don't know if that makes sense. So that's that. So that's how we do our meetings and all that good kind of stuff. Now, I had mentioned earlier about presence information and all that and everything. So in my mail, no matter where I'm at in Outlook, you'll see, or in Microsoft, I have all my people, right? And I have my drop downs and the ability to call people and do all that good stuff. So I'll just give you an example. I have this email here from George that was announcing Office 365 for free for eligible nonprofits. So I'm opening this meeting. This is sent to all of our employees that are relevant to it. And as you can see, just by glancing, I can tell people's presence. Daniel's in the meeting somewhere. Betsy is, Maybell, Greg, because they're away, right? Floyd's available. Michael's in the meeting right now. Kevin's in the meeting right now. I can highlight over any of these people, and I can just call them. See, Kevin's got all his numbers in there, so I can call him anywhere, right? Kevin Wills is our VP of Professional Services. But it's really that easy to make phone calls. Now, if you're using remote call control, it would ring your PBX when you call them, so it would ring your handset. If you're using a soft phone like I am, plugged in using a headset, it would just make the call using Lync, and it would all be through here, right? And that is actually all I have for presentation. Are there any questions that I can answer and maybe show you guys something if you have any question on it?
Sorry, Massimo again here.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, my question is, so all of this is also available and works for Mac, Apple machines?
Yes.
So, for example, Outlook for Mac offers the same
Yes.
functionalities?
Yep. And Lync has a Mac client,
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm. Anybody else have any questions? If you don't have, if we don't have any questions, that's great. If you, like I said before, if we have anybody on the call who would like to have any more information or set up a individual demo for yourself and multiple people at your office, that is absolutely no problem. We can do we can do a web demonstration anytime of Lync or any other product. Also, we'd like to offer anybody who's on this call. Uh, like we said, if you want to see how Lync ties to your PBX, send us your PBX type, and we'll be able to get you that information.
Dennis, I think there's another question.
Okay.
On my screen.
There is? I don't see it.
Can Lync client
Oh.
integrate with SharePoint?
Yes. So in SharePoint, I have the same exact information that I have in Outlook. Like, so I'll get the peeps. So if I see somebody's name, and I don't know if I can show it to you in our SharePoint, but let's just see, because we're just changing it. I don't know if we have any. Nope, it's been moved. So we're migrating to SharePoint Online right now. Oh, it's still there. So I don't know if we're, and when I say right now, I mean like right now. So let's see if the old server is still available. We'll still get the same information and all that good stuff on SharePoint Online that we would get.
Brandon Bowie from 3 Arrows.
Yep.
Is now exiting.
So yeah, we're already moved. I don't have access at this point. I'll probably have access tomorrow. But I would have showed you that. So the same way you get these peeps, you'll get the same thing in SharePoint. The same way you get it in Outlook, any Office application, anywhere you see metafile data, you'll get those peeps. Let's see, you got another question maybe? Oh, okay, great. Any other questions? And you can either talk or set them in IM. I didn't notice someone was IM in earlier, but great. Thank you, Massimo. So great. So we'll go ahead and give you guys 5 minutes back. Not very much. And like I said, please get in touch with us if you have any questions, all right? Thank you guys very much.
Multiple people are now exiting.
Chris Benning.
Is now exiting.